Hey guys, Technomentary with the video for you guys. In today's video, I'm going to review the iPhone 12 going into 2022 and if this phone is worth it to buy in 2022, what you should expect out of it, and also compare with the newer iPhone 13 that was recently released. Because most likely, if you're looking at the iPhone 12, you're also probably looking at the iPhone 13 here that just came out. So the iPhone 12 now, it's been around for now just a little over a year and a half or so, just under that. It was released back in October of 2020. Now, when it was released, there was a couple interesting things that came out of it. First being that 5G now possibly on the US version and some of the versions in the States here. This wasn't possible in the international model, but 5G was available. You also had this more improved chipset on it that kind of allowed the phone to be much faster. There's also a higher resolution for screen to body or ratio that you got, and then 6.1 inch display here with that 2532 and 1170 pixel resolution here made the screen pretty much a great device for the phone itself here. Now the 12 came out to be a little bit cheaper than the Pro model. If you know that Apple released actually 4 different models. You had the mini, which was the very first time we've seen a mini version. You had the regular 12, which we're holding, and then the Pro and the Pro Max, which has 3 triple cameras. So this one is the regular 12. Now the regular 12, it's similar built to the iPhone 11 as well in a ways. And the other thing you'll notice here with the 12 versus the 11 is that design changes that happen. Here we have the 11 here, as you notice here, similar build to it. This one on the 12 is a little bit slicker design built. The first thing you notice is that design coming back from the iPhone 5 lineup, where you have these flat bezels that are edge to edge across the board, which in ways mixed reviews. Some people like the rounder edges, some people like the flat edges, but that's kind of where it stands. And then that build as well, that aluminum body build that you have, really slick in your hand in ways, again, just trying to reduce the whole footprint and the overall design here that we come with the iPhone 12 here. And the other thing to mention about the iPhone 12 is that the battery life. It has a decent battery life. Now, if you're comparing the 12, you're going to be probably comparing the 13. Is what kind of battery life you get between the 12 and the 13. Well, on the 12, in the video playback, you get about 17 hours of video playback. On the 13 here, you get around 19 hours. So 2 more hours in terms of video playback. And that's kind of where we see the difference, is that battery is one thing. The other thing between these two phones that you're going to probably notice, it's going to be around the cameras here. With every Apple device, as you know, Apple likes to go ahead and improve their cameras. That's sort of the trademark thing Apple likes to work on. And one thing we notice on the 13 that's not available on the 12 is that photographic style is one thing, and then the other thing you'll notice here, it's going to be that cinematic mode. So cinematic mode basically allows you to take some beautiful shallow depth focus transition into your video automatically. So that's kind of like where the differentiating factor becomes between these two phones. Now the other area probably between these two phones are going to be performance. So as you know, with every new release of iPhone, the iPhone itself, there's a couple of things happen, and that's the upgrade of the chip. So on the 12 here, you have the A14 Bionic chip, 13 of course A15 Bionic chip. So what does that really mean? Well, for a day-to-day user, regular user, it might not really make much of a difference for you, and you might not even notice. But do know that on some of the benchmark tests we've seen, the 13 just be slightly faster. Again, it's not a whole lot of speed that you see that can make a noticeable difference. Of course, now if you're upgrading from an iPhone 7, iPhone 8 and to a 12, you'll notice a big jump in performance, but not between a 12 and a 13 when you do a lot of these comparisons. Now, that kind of brings us back to the point where you're probably going to be looking at it. So is the iPhone 12 really worth it in 2022? Well, it's been out for a year and a half or so, and we upgraded from iOS 14 to 15, and everything seems to work fine, whether you're playing heavy graphic games or light games, or if you're just using it for your social media or simply browsing, or just using it to simply make calls, texts, or just simply move around your browsing. Light user to medium user, even heavy user, all of that and much more, the 12 can definitely do. And the 12 is still sold by Apple. So right now, if you were to ask if the 12 is worth it, now if you have the device currently, yes, it's definitely going to be worth it. probably wouldn't think about upgrading to a 13 unless you really care about those small differences, like a little bit bigger battery, upgraded camera, and slight improvement against the performance here. Now, if you were looking to buy between a 12 and a 13 going into 2022, we would recommend you go with the 13. And the reason, because we're going to say that, is because it comes down to price point. Now, if you really look at the price point, the iPhone 12 here, which starts at a base model of 64 gig, you're paying around $699 for 64 gig, where on the iPhone 13 here, if you look in Apple's website, you're going to be paying around $799. Now, $100 difference, and you get that 128 gig base storage here and a newer phone, which again, in the long run, you're going to probably get one more year out of the 13 than the 12 year. Now, if you go for the 128 gig model on the 12, you're going to pay around $749, and then if you're going for 256 gig, it's going to be around close to $849 and such. So in terms of paying more, and for these two devices, again, it's going to come down to probably that being the biggest thing. So if you have the phone currently, yes, go ahead and keep the 12. Don't even really bother upgrading it unless you really care to. But if you're choosing between these two devices, the 13 is the obvious choice in here for us. So that's our review of the iPhone 12 going into 2022. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and we want to hear from you guys. If you guys have experience or use these devices in any shape or form, leave a comment in the comment section. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.